let's talk about thought transmission. So a lot of people ask me, like, how do you know they're receiving your thoughts? Do they receive your exact thoughts? La 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 la. Why are they not reflecting it back yet? Blah blah blah. Nobody knows like how it goes into their brain, like the exact thing that goes into their brain. All I know from my experience and what I've been learning is that they do. And they do reflect back your thinking because everyone, as you pushed out, we're all connected, is one consciousness. So it makes sense to me that way. But if you're new here, it might be a bit confusing. So I want you to look at thought transmission like this. When you're writing out a message, you have something to say, you're thinking something, you're writing something to someone, you send in that message. You're sending that message from your phone, they receive that message on their phone. Sometimes people can perceive text messages differently. They might think you're being moody, they might think you're being funny. They can perceive it in their own way, right? So this is how we have different perceptions. But just because that person hasn't replied to you immediately doesn't mean they're not going to. They might reply in one day, they might reply in an hour, they might reply next week, they might be busy. So just because your specific person or whoever it is that you're manifesting has not reflected back your thinking yet does not mean they're not going to. You just got to keep persisting, thinking this new way. Like, manifestation is actually very, very simple. So many people overcomplicate it for themselves. I've noticed that. It's like they can't accept or conceive the idea that manifestation really is simple. The hard part, so to speak, is just staying consistent with it when your brain is so used to thinking logically, right? So we're trying to find logic in everything that we're doing. But thought transmission is a very real thing, and people do reflect back your thinking, what you think about you, them, the world, everything. Because what you're dominantly thinking puts you in a state, and that state that you're in has got certain versions of people that must reflect back the state that you're in. So it's like being in a different movie and you're playing a different role and the characters treat you differently because you're in a different movie, you know, you're a different character. I mean, if you want to go into like the real deep, heavy stuff of it, it's not really heavy, but like behind the scenes of like how manifestation works, then go and look at quantum physics. I love quantum physics and all the science behind it, but I don't really talk about much of it on here simply because I want to keep it simple, because you really don't need to know all these things in order to consciously manifest. But for those of you that are interested, then just go and do some research and you'll see how all of this works. Yeah, so just remember, like when you send someone a text message, they receive that message on their phone. They might not reply straight away, but they will. Just the same way you're sending thoughts to people, they may not reflect back your thoughts, your affirmations straight away, but they will. Okay, so your only job is to keep persisting with your new stories, keep identifying it as this new version of you. Just the same way you'll be playing a character in a movie and you've got to keep practicing to embody this character. You've got to keep reading your script, you've got to keep learning your lines, you've got to keep being this version of you to play a good role, you know, in the movie, so people can see you playing in this movie and is believable, you know. So this is what you're doing. You're choosing to identify as a different version of you, a version of you that's got the relationship, a version of you that's got more money, the version of you that's got financial freedom, the version of you that travels, the version of you that's got kids, the version of you that has got the dream career, the version of you that got the dream house. Like whatever it is that you want, there's a version of you that has it. You just need to continue identifying as this version regardless of what's going on in the 3D. People get so hung up on the 3D, the 3D, the 3D. The 3D is there, it's helping you, it's showing you what's going on in your subconscious mind. If there's something you don't like and you're feeling triggered, that's telling you, hey, you still believe this to be true. You still believe you're not good enough. You still believe money's hard to come by. You still believe that men always cheat. You still believe that women can't be trusted. It's just telling you what you need to continue working on. That's it. It's helping you. 3D is helping you, showing you what you need to keep working on. If you know that all you've got to do is change your thinking and persist in that thinking, then we shouldn't let the 3D get to us, because we know the 3D as it is just a reflection, a physical manifestation of what we were dominantly thinking before. But now we're choosing to think differently, okay?